All right, we're back. And today I've got an interesting topic. No reaction.
Wait, you're not gonna say like who we are or anything? It's like, oh, we're back. They
Oh
just
yeah, that's right. All
like they
right,
just
all right.
finished watching the previous podcast and they go right next to the next podcast.
Yeah,
But it's like,
it's like you're watching anime, right? To be continued, and then you just hit
yeah,
the Netflix pop thing pops up and be like, watch next episode. Nobody
yeah,
waits for the credit, and they're probably gonna like skip intro. So here we are, skip
yeah.
intro. Another episode of TTP podcast. And today I've got something interesting to talk about. It's something that's been kind of like on my mind because a lot of my friends and a lot of people around me, and I don't know if it's just Google or just the world, but a lot of people have been getting into long range shooting, right? Precision long range, right? Precision rifle shooting. So,
You
and
know
we're
why
not.
though? It's because they're banning all the semi-autos and banning all the machine guns and all that stuff. So it's like you have no choice but to turn to like sniper rifles.
That's probably true. I mean, I just saw a short about how the NFA makes no sense, and somebody's like, "Yeah, I can buy this HK417, semi-automatic 308 that can shoot to 1,000 meters and take it home same day. But if I want to buy this, 6-inch 9 millimeter subgun, it's got to go to jail, and I got to wait 9 months, and then it can
Yeah.
barely shoot through cardboard. So, uh,
It's
but
like he's saying the quiet part out loud.
they don't know that. But yeah, it's I've been seeing a lot of let's see. Precision rifle, right? Oh, PRS. And it could be semi-auto, it could be bolt action, but the point is, it's just imagine in your head like just sniper or somebody shooting long range, and that's pretty much PRS. But and then I try to dabble in it, but I'm poor, so I was like, okay, how can I get to as effective as like basically just as good, right? Like my motto is just as good. So how can I get just as good while spending the minimum amount of money? So I just built a 24-inch AR, 223, and then I shoot like heavy
God.
bullets, 70 plus grain. Works pretty well, but the only difference is I spent and oh yeah, other than the barrel, the rest of the gun cost me like I don't know, like $500. I
Hey, hey,
think.
hey, there's only five forges, okay?
Like I'm pretty sure I have like an NC Stark thumbhole stock, like
Oh God.
I have some random free float handguard that's like only 5 inches for a 24-inch barrel. Um, so truly free flow, right? Because I have no
Truly,
handguard. If you have
truly.
no handguard,
No
it
hand.
has to be free float.
It
Um,
cannot affect it whatsoever.
Anyways, it's this abomination of a gun. But the only part I did spend money on was I bought a Burris Eliminator 4, I think. Yes. So if you don't know what that
Wait,
is,
do you have a picture of your gun?
I'll put it online. I'll put it on the screen so people can see it. For those of you watching it and not just listening, but it's this abomination of a rifle. But I do have a Burris Eliminator 4, and what it is,
It's
it's
cheating, is what it is.
it's actually cheating. It's pay to win, which is the topic I want to talk about today, because it is a 4 to 16x scope. Okay, so not that great, but it has a built-in laser rangefinder with a ballistic calculator built in. So essentially, here it is. Here's a picture of it. You put whatever you put in the ballistic coefficient, do some calculation. You put your bullet velocity in, and then you look at whatever you want to shoot. You press a button. The laser rangefinder will range it, and then it will put the dot. It will put the red dot, basically your hold, where it needs to be because it's all calculated. And then it's as simple as a video game. It's literally Call of Duty or Battlefield when you have the rangefinder attachment. And oh man, and every time I've shown people, like people are just like blown away. They're just upset. Actually, they're amazed at the technology, but they're also upset because a
You
while
gotta tell
back,
them. Yeah. Sorry, go
a
ahead.
while back, Jeremy and some friends came and visit me out east, and we went to shoot long range. This is their like first time really shooting at a really nice long range course. So they brought their ARs. They had like a it's a decent build, you know, like it's good quality builds. They've got good optics on it, you know, your vortexes, your razors. And then one of our friend, I'm just gonna call him yeah, whatever.
His
I don't
name
think
is
he was.
Jealous. His name is Jealous.
Yes, his name is Jealous. Yes,
Yeah.
we call him the Italian. Yeah, so he was having trouble shooting long range because he's not really used to it. What did he have? He had a 16 inch, right?
No. It was a 14.5 inch gun, but with a 1 to 6 vortex razor on
That's
it.
what it was, right? And then I think he was. I'm not gonna say, you know, it's not. He's just not practiced, but he was having trouble hitting, you know, the 400 500 meter shot, which is not that easy. Like realistically speaking, like you do need a little bit of practice to shoot it. But he was having trouble consistently hitting it with his gun. And then he was like, "Hey," well, and I was like, "Hey, you should try this." So I just explained how it worked. You know, that he hit the button, fires first shot, hits the 500 meter, and he was like, "What even is shooting? I quit." Direct quote. Yeah, because they were trying to figure out, you know, the drop, the dope, you know, like the holdover, the mills, and but this scope just took all that out of it.
I mean, to be fair, there was also like quite a bit of wind that day too.
There
But
was.
I mean, at the time that he made that shot, it was like there was no wind correction because I believe like unless you have some, I mean that scope doesn't have like a kestrel or any kind of thing that indicates for wind holds, right?
Yeah. No. It does, but it's manually inputted. So the newer version, the 5, can wirelessly give you wind, whereas this one you can put in the wind, but you have to manually put in, which I did
Yeah.
at that time. So
Okay.
um,
Yeah, so basically, ah man, that reaction was so gold too
yeah.
because it was just like so pure, unadulterated. Like, what even is shooting?
Yeah, it's and that's what got me to thought like, man, shooting's really got, especially like PRS. It's like, is it just pay to win? Like, you know, and you hear that term for all you gamers out there, because I know you all are. Is it's literally just pay to win. And I think as a whole, not even just PRS, shooting itself, when you get like really competitive, I feel like it's just pay to win. That's just my opinion, and that's something that's kind of like annoyed me, or I guess like made me realize like I don't, for lack of a better word, ironically, it's just an arms race of who can throw more money and get better accessories at this point. Because especially since like the actual gun technology hasn't really improved that much. So you know,
I
if everyone
mean,
just
to a certain degree, I do agree with you. Basically, in the sense that, like, yes, you know, you can definitely put more money into something and like have like a greater advantage. But like at the same time, you know, you also have to consider that like at the highest level of competition, there will be like things that you kind of need to even qualify for entry. So then it is pay to win, but also everybody who's playing at that level is paying essentially like roughly the same amount of money to play at this level. So then it's like
oh yeah, no, I don't
you know what I mean?
disagree.
So
Yeah, I don't
yeah, so
disagree.
then it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, okay, you know, you have like people who maybe they can't spend a lot of money to like do it, then it's like they're automatically disqualified because they don't have the money. But at the same time, it's like that applies to like a lot of things. Like for instance, you know, if you wanted to be like a Formula One racer, it's like all of the Formula One companies they pour like millions of dollars into like R&D to like shave off like a quarter of a second on a corner in a lap. And it's like, yeah, that's the point is that, you know, they're competing at such a high level that it's like they will just do everything and anything they can within the rules to essentially make their cars faster, right? So I kind of think of it like I was actually thinking about as you're talking about this, because maybe like for example, there's a reason why like there's two different categories of pistol competition.
Hmm.
One would be USPSA, and then IPSC would be the other one, right?
Yeah.
And I believe USPSA has like different classification categories, but like open competition for USPSA is basically like almost anything is allowed. And I think like the only thing is like I think there's a weight requirement. I can't remember if it's like your pistol can't be like over a certain. I think it's your pistol has to be under a certain weight, but otherwise you can put like anything you want on it in terms of like optics, magwells, all that stuff. And then like they have other classifications where it's like the competition's like maybe like anything goes except for like iron sights only or something like that, right? I think there's like different categories within USPSA. And then for IPSC, it's like I believe it's even more stringent because for IPSC, ISPC, IPSC,
IPSC. IPSC.
yeah. So basically, that one is more like it's meant to simulate concealed carry, like defensive situations. Kind of, I think, is like originally the idea, and then it kind of just became like straight competition. But for them, like there's certain things about. Is it IPSC that it is? Because this almost kind of doesn't look like it. But basically, I think like there's a certain pistol competition out there where you have to draw from concealment and you have to use like a stock pistol. Like I think
Yeah, so there's
you can't
standard,
like
there's
have
classic
certain.
division, standard division, open. Open is the one where it's like
Yeah,
you just race it the fuck out. But I
yeah,
think the classic division is where you have to do like, oh, here it is.
yep.
So
Back to the roots. Yeah, there you
it's a
go.
home to
Yeah,
classic 1911s, all current variants, single row magazine, so 5-inch barrel. So yeah,
yeah.
and then
hmm
yeah, so
So basically, you're kind of going to. Oh my God, the Glock with the bayonet, the Glock bayonet, or the Glock knife. But yeah, so you have to play within like a set of rules that puts like
Mhm.
heavy restrictions on you. So you can't just throw money at something and like.
Yeah.
Or at least they're trying to prevent you from doing basically what you're saying, right?
Yeah, and I think yeah, I get it, right? To the point, it's like there is there's also it's not just pay to win, it's a barrier to entry, right? Like you were saying, because
hmm
it's like somebody with a off the wall I don't know, give me a shitty rifle.
A Ruger American.
Yeah, off the wall Ruger American. It's like, and with like a I don't know, like a Bushnell or primary arms like 1-6 or whatever. Like he's really not gonna hit a mile, right? Or as like somebody
You
that's
never know. You never know.
You're
Some
right.
guy could hit 700 meters with a 22.
Oh
Second
yeah,
round
first
hit
shot. Yeah,
every time, right?
That's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
cold bore. Yeah, 700 meter,
Mhm.
222.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right, but my point is like, but you give someone like, and that's where I think like the gaming analogy works, right? Because it's you give somebody that's like, okay, somebody that's like masterclass shooter, right? He could probably do it, right? But if you give him a dedicated, like a fucking I don't know intervention or something, he's probably gonna hit it way more consistently, if not much easier. Right, so it's just one of those barrier to entry, and then I think PRS comes up because the barrier entry is so high that it becomes more pronounced. Because like at a lower division or at a lower, like close range pistol shooting, somebody with a raced out, 1911 or Glock, and somebody using a bog standard, a Glock 19, it's gonna be a difference. But since it's the guy with the bone stock Glock can still basically compete or time or trial, but whereas like PRS, you're just shit out of luck, for lack of a better word. And I tend to agree, right? It's like you kind of have to. It's I don't want to say it's like a new emergence in it, but it does get me thinking like how do you I guess like standardize it, because like obviously we talked about IPSEC, they have the standard or classic division where it goes back to the classic, but that's also kind of like limiting, right? That would be like if racing, but everybody has to race on I don't know a stock Toyota. which would be also interesting, but like you also want the
It
variation.
ain't about the ride; it's about the rider.
Oh my god. Yeah. So because it's like, because it gets me kind of like not upset, but it gets me like it just kind of it's like when you play a video game when it's pay to win. It just kind of makes it so like I don't want to play because it's like what's the point, right? It's like unless
He's
I'm
upset. He's upset. He's upset.
no, just because I'm not a credit card warrior.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Um, yeah, I'm not a credit card operator, but
Wait,
yeah.
hold on. Go scroll back down. There's like a weird like bullpup looking thing. I want to check that out real quick. A little bit lower, a little bit lower, a little bit lower.
That thing?
There, right there. What the hell is that?
That's an air gun, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's an air gun.
Oh, okay.
I've seen that before. So like, and I don't know. I feel like it takes away like the shooting aspect of it, or the more like I don't know how to put it, like gritty, which is like after my kind of like experience with just throwing money or technology at shooting. Now I'm just like I just want to shoot iron sights and simple, classic iron sights now. I just want
Dude,
to shoot bone stock
he's just
AR.
mad that now he has like his little bolt action iron sight gun that he shows for the range, and everyone else is shooting like a mile plus with their like super like awesome, accuracy internationals like 82 times scope, and then he's just like, but I can hit the target too with my iron sights.
It's true. I did just buy two iron sight rifles exactly for that, and I'm going back to shoot irons on my AR. I don't know. There's just something fun for me. There's something fun of shooting irons. I think it's like I don't know. Maybe it's like to me, it's like a skill shot. Whereas like using scope is like cheating. Yeah. What are you trying to compensate for, huh? I wear glasses. I don't even have 20/20 vision. I wear glasses, so what's your excuse?
Dude, you're just a FUD. All right, you probably only shoot one round at a time.
My newest rifle is I have to shoot one round at a time. I just bought a Thompson Contender. But so like biathlon, Olympic shooting, right? Like that's another thing that I'm kind of annoyed. Like they have these race out like these ridiculous rifles. I think they're all 22s because like that's the minimum they need. It's like, oh, this is still a real bullet, but there's no weight, there's no recoil, and it's like they have these ridiculous setup for their rifle. Whereas, like back in the day when they did biathlon, they were using military rifles. Like they were using like 8mm, like actual military rifles. And I just feel like I don't know. It's like I wish there was a rule set, like if you could like limit it, right? So, because then I wish I don't know to make it more interesting. Like make it like have rather than just throwing technology and having ridiculous guns, you have to like you have to use like either like classic guns or like current issue rifles rather than like like production. It's like street racing versus Formula
and then you
1.
have people. And then you have people like, checking the guns like before they start the competition. Like, I don't know if that gun is truly clone correct. It doesn't have a Insight, M3X on it, or oh, you're not using a KAC rail. Disqualified.
Yeah, it's like ooh, yeah. Is that an Aimpoint M4, not an M4S? Ooh, I don't.
Ooh, your EOTech hood doesn't say SU31/A. Ooh, it just has the new EOTech logo on there. Nope. Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Is that a full power laser? Oh, disqualified.
Yeah. And I have someone over here that needs to talk to you.
He said he's from food and drug. It's like something about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, are you doing drugs? Are you doping? But I don't know. It's just like look at this ridiculous. Like it's cool. It's kind of like cyberpunk-ish, but it's like it's a ridiculous contraption for a gun. I just wish it was back to more like like classic firearms or like
Dude, the wood calibrated to fit my hand. Okay.
It is actually like
I know.
it's canted. Like the gun is like canted, like
Yeah.
slightly. So it like it's a natural hold, but I don't know. Like that's
Hey,
why
isn't
it's like
there a company that makes like a mouse or something for like gamers that
yeah,
like is
the
like
vertical. Yeah,
calibrated
oh, I
to
know.
like
Yeah, I know what you're talking. Is it the? I think it's a Logitech, like upright mouse.
I forgot, but basically I heard something about how it's like there are mice that you can get
So
that
so there's
they're like
this. I don't think it was.
calibrated or certain.
I don't think it was made for gamers, but it is very very comfortable. This one.
Yeah.
If
No,
they,
but this is more custom because it's calibrated to the
okay.
user.
No, I don't.
But like
Maybe.
anyway, I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting. But that
Probably.
is pretty cool too. Yeah.
Like, and then there's because there is like I think like I remember seeing like a German military shooting competition. So like we obviously have ours, everybody. These are much more interesting because they're using stock rifle. I mean, not stock, but like obviously it's like clean, slight tuned, but like they're still using, what's like, yeah, like more accessible, right? Like they're not going out of their way to be like this. Like I don't even know what this is.
Yo, you're
Like-
telling me that cloning is accessible? Think again. Checkmate, atheist.
Yeah, you're right. I remember seeing a German one that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Guy was like, this guy was shooting a G3 in a competition, and you know how everyone was like, you don't take your, you don't take your shooting hand off the pistol grip, right? You always reload your offhand, and this guy did that. This guy reloaded with his dominant or shooting hand, and he still smoked everybody. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Jeez. I think I heard about that actually. Yeah.
Yeah, so everyone was like blown the fuck out, basically, like
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just
Okay, here.
That's my
So
point.
let's talk about this. Would you what if let's say the parameters for competition you're gonna enter, and basically you can choose any gun you want. It has to be an issued rifle, an issued military rifle for competition, and basically it's like there will be many different ranges set up, like basically all of the ranges that are basically within the like what is it where like they have like a like every gun kind of has like a what is it like a not a recommended range but like a capability range, like this gun can hit targets within like 400 meters, like man size or whatever. So then like basically like let's say they like whatever you choose, it's within this, right? What would you pick? What would you pick for like your military issued rifle that
So,
you
like,
could use for competition?
I mean, I guess it might depend what we're doing with it, but
Mhm.
honestly, like 20 NJR or M16A2 probably. Like,
Okay.
it's just simple,
Okay,
right?
wow.
It's simple, it's
Wow,
reliable to a certain aspect. Yeah.
Boring.
Hey, it's more interesting than this shit, but like, because it's like
I don't know. I definitely thought you were gonna say something else, but okay.
I mean, there's a lot, right? I mean, there's a lot, but there also isn't that many. But like, if I want a 308, then probably something like a G3 because I really like their sights. I think the Doppler sights are perfect for quickly engaging, close and far targets.
Big Shigu is disappointed in you.
Yeah, like what would you pick, Lynn? Huh? What's your pick? If you say Mark 18, I'm just gonna leave.
Of course not, Mark 18. Mark 18 suck.
Oh, okay.
Just wait for the comments to be like,
Okay.
all right, 18 sounds cool, but they're not cool anymore. Actually, the clone community has moved on from Mark 18s. Okay, so I don't know. I mean, I love SIGs, so like a 550 would be like probably like my choice.
The Rolls Royce of fucking 223
Yes.
rifles.
Oh yeah. So lush.
That is a very very good pick. That is the
Lux.
That is the top end. That is the DLC gun for this scenario.
It's my pay to play. Okay.
That is the pay. That is in this scenario. That
Yeah.
is the pay to win, but it's still eligible
Yeah.
because it's a
No,
current
But
service
like,
rifle.
I mean, like, what would so like what? Okay, but here's the thing though. It's only pay to play because of where we live in
yes.
the world.
Yes.
Like, if if I was in Switzerland, then it's like there's a chance that I would just have one of these for like a reasonable price, right?
Yeah.
So basically, like I think that's like well within the, like I could see like for instance,
I think
I would also could.
I think for me, I was thinking more like just like because I'm so familiar and like used to the AR. Like, what do I pick now to really compete? But if I was gonna pick one to like train and compete, I would probably pick the SIG as well, right? But like right now, if you wanted to be like, hey, pick a gun to go do this competition in, I would probably have to pick the AR because I'm just used to the controls and especially the irons. Whereas I'm gonna have to relearn like the SIG, everything. But SIG is a good choice.
G36.
Oh God! with the shitty optic.
Yes.
I mean,
20-inch barrel.
See, that's not a bad idea because if you're doing bone stock, right, you do get bipod and you do get optic and red dot. So that's like that's kind of that's a nifty feature.
Yeah.
If you get to use that. That's like, that is that is the true pay to win. Never mind. Everyone else is shooting iron sights when you get when you get the G36 optic.
Yeah, dominate the field. But only in like sub certain temperatures.
Yeah. Well, it just depends on how fast you have to shoot.
That's like not even true, honestly, which is hilarious. It's like the G36 is actually like such a capable weapon. Okay, what else is on the docket, I guess? I don't know. I mean, I'm curious to hear like I mean, I know we're not done with the podcast, but like I'm curious to hear like what would like some of our viewers consider a military issued, like at some point in time, a military issued rifle that you would use for competition. And the competition is basically like just like a lot, like you're basically, we'll say it's timed. There's like many different targets and many different
imagine
distances.
like it's like your two gun with like some longer ranges, right? Like imagine your two gun but more like paper size target, but like some maybe like a slight shoot house type variant, right, from concealment or cover, and then basically realistic engagements, like let's just put it that way, like, or engagement analogs, right?
Give me my scope switch, please.
Yeah, and then and no pre-walking the course, so you have to do it live.
Oh yeah,
you have to ID the targets live.
Yep.
Something like that I think would be interesting, because like my other gripe is like it's not even the gun, I think it's the whole thing, right? So it's like I don't know what this. Okay, I mean, I guess this is fucking. I don't know what this is. But, like,
you don't want to touch that one.
Yeah, I mean, we won't touch that with a fucking 10-foot pole, but it's the whole, like, I don't know. It's like, for me, it's even the gear and like the whole aesthetic of like competition shooting too.
You're just mad that you're not wearing a cool outfit that has all the brands all over.
Yeah,
it.
like a cool polo, like Infinity. Like, look at these magazines. It looks like he's gonna trip, and those things are gonna go skyrocket into the breath. Like pew pew pew. Like,
those are his thrusters to make him go faster.
You're right. Those are his gyro stabilizers. Yeah.
Yes.
I've seen those in Titanfall. I just think like gear too. It's like you should use, you gotta do clone correct. You gotta use Milsurf gear.
So Eagle plate carriers.
Oh God, Rhodesian recon vests.
Yeah. Velcro flap, mag retention. Yeah.
If you're really Gucci, you'll get like a what's that company near me?
What? Oh, Spirit Systems.
Yeah, if you're really Gucci, you'll get a Spirit Systems.
Yeah, those are issued now.
That's what I'm saying. See, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Or like,
Yep.
and then you can drip out, right? You can be like Marpat. You can be like like Cadpat. Maybe Flector. Bring back the classic. Or Japanese.
AOR one
Yeah.
only.
Ooh, I like Japanese camel. I think that's like
Yeah.
it's like Eastern Flector.
Yeah. Well, I love it because it's basically like M81 but Japanese.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
it's redder.
Speaking
though, right?
of,
it's like redder
speaking
M81.
of, speaking of, we have to transition to an ad because right now at weaponoutfitters.com there is Japanese self-defense force slings in the garage sale. So if you go there, you can definitely get a discount. Actually, they probably won't even see it by the time this comes out.
We're not even sponsored by Weapon Outfitters, so it doesn't even matter. I was about to bring it up on the website, but then I was like, wait, I probably shouldn't because it's Weapon Outfitters. you know.
But they do have the slings, so Japanese self-defense force camo slings, pretty cool.
Yeah, look at this.
Whoa,
M1.
what is that like? Are those what are those things?
Looks like bullet holders. And that's kind of cool.
But it's like a cell phone like flap thing. Like it looks like it's a
Yeah.
cell phone holder, but it holds like the 30-06 ammo.
It's like a cigar holder.
Yeah, actually.
But yeah, I mean, I know there are competitions still out there that uses classic or stock, but I just think it's weird because you either go full classic, right, or this guy's shooting M1 or Greenfields and whatever, like M4, M1As, or it's super ultra futuristic modern, right? It's like there is no middle ground where it's okay, 1970s to 2010 service rifles. There are, but it's just not prevalent. Probably because it's happening now, right? It's just the weapons now. But I don't know. I just think it'd be more interesting to have mil-cert competitions, basically. Clone correct competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every piece on your gun.
When you entry, you have to provide a picture,
Wow.
of a downrange of your setup downrange, like somebody has done it.
Excuse me, sir. This grip screw is not correct. It is a hexagonal pattern. It's not
yes.
the Phillips head. You're disqualified.
Yeah, you're Oh God, yeah. It's gonna be so funny. It's
we're gonna need to inspect the detent springs in your gun.
it's more intense than 922R.
Yeah. What if it was like 922R where it's you're only allowed 5 non-clone parts?
Yeah, dude. There you go. Oh, okay. That's the rule set. Maybe we're getting the rule set. Yeah. So it's you can, your base gun, right? Your caliber and all that, and then you're allotted a certain amount of non-clone correct parts, basically. So
they're gonna be like. They're gonna be like, excuse me, but this guy who entered, his M4 is chambered in 300 blackout.
Is that a disadvantage or an advantage? I can't even tell at that point.
I don't know. It depends on the competition. But it's so funny because basically they'd be like, well, he's within the 5 parts changed.
Oh, God. Yeah. I think my other problem also, it's the caliber used, right? They're all fucking 22s. It's I get it, right? It's the easiest to no recoil and it's super light. But I almost feel at that point the competition would need to shoot steel plates or steel targets. So you need a minimum amount of foot pounds to knock them over, right?
Wait,
so it's
are those regulation fingerless gloves?
I don't know, but those definitely aren't regulation glasses though. I mean, look at those look like the glasses the eye doctor be like, okay, which one's better, number 1, number 2,
and number 2, yeah, A or B.
Oh man, yeah.
No, it's his HUD for syncing up with the front sight.
Yes, that's really what it is. Yeah. Yeah, it's don't get me wrong, I appreciate the technology that goes into building something like this, but I just think it's kind of when you have so much money and like I get it, right? Because that's competition. Like when you have so much money and shaving inches, seconds, or like millimeters or whatever off, like every little bit matters. But like I just wish it was more back to like, where it's like the shooter and more of like the machinery, less of like throwing technology and money, just like classic machinery.
You just wish that you could afford the visors that they wear.
Oh yeah, yeah, that hat.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just like it just makes the sport, I feel like, would be more interesting when it's not super, because it's like because they do all this basically to circumvent rules, or like they're it's like when people it's like so when people try to circumvent NFA with like I'm gonna hot take like the braces and the force reset trigger. It's in the rules or it's legal, but it's like or it's the tongue in cheek, right? It's like it's like
No, braces were designed for cripples that
you're
only
right.
have one arm to shoot. Okay,
You're
they
right, you're
weren't
right.
meant for any other purpose. Okay.
Yeah, but it's like because this is like the rules are like it's like they're looking at the rules like, hey, there's no rules on which caliber, so it's like let's just use the tiniest no recoil caliber, right? So it's
Yeah.
like so that's what it is. It's like I think there should be more like not restrictive rules, but more like common sense rules. I don't know, like
Dude,
I don't
that
know what
kid
to
looks
say.
like he's about to shoot like a rail gun or like
Which
fuel
one?
rods or some shit. The last picture you had up,
Oh,
the one
yeah,
that
oh,
we've been looking
the,
at, like
the
yeah,
Chinese
yeah,
team.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I mean, it just
yeah.
looks like like fucking. I mean, it's like fucking plasma like space gun.
Yeah, I mean it's all fucking balanced and everything. So like I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure it's like it's perfectly balanced. So it's like there's literally nothing out front. Like it
dude.
just takes a point. I feel like it just takes away like a lot of the.
Well,
Like, it's
even
even great.
even their
It's even
outfits are
tripoded. Yeah,
weighted so that
yeah.
they like have
Have
less
no.
impact on the
Yeah,
gun.
exactly. So like
Yeah.
I just think that actually takes away from the sport and like the sportsmanship of it. You know what I mean? Like it would be like if I have a drone drive my F1 car. It's like because it's like part of the F1. It's like F1's a good analogy because they go through a lot of training, right? Like as much technology as you put in, you still are subjected to sudden G forces, and you need that quick, sleight of hand and like like
Well,
20/20
but
vision.
I think you're looking at it from like the fact that like they also go through a shitload of training because the capability of the technology, then they have to compete at that like highest level because everybody else is using like all of this advantage as well. So then it's like when you bring forth like relatively speaking the same advantages across the board, then you essentially have to minimize your own like potential for failure, right?
Yeah,
So
and
like
I
you know what I
yeah.
mean, like so to a certain point it's like the Formula One aspect is that it's like the drivers have to be like physically fit, they have to be able to withstand G forces, they have to be able to drive for like really long times in like hot temperatures and stuff, and so it's like there's that human element that won't go away, right? So it's not the same as if like a drone drives your AI car, because a human is still controlling that weapon, right? So see, even if you have all these like extra bells and whistles, those things ultimately will still not technically automatically make you a better shooter. Like you still have to be able to like control your breathing, your trigger pull, and like basically like that there is still, I think, an element to it. Otherwise it's like it wouldn't be a competition, right?
No, I do agree, and I think it's very similar. It's a fine line between what I'm talking about with like just like I guess outside my like I don't know non-Olympic or like top level competition and like the shooting. It's similar, but it's not exactly the same because you're right at the very very top level. And if everybody is using the same, if all the parameters same, like everyone's using the same gear and the same gear and the same weapon because they have to because everybody else is, then you're right. The minute difference is the person, but I just don't think that's very interesting, is what I'm getting at, because that you basically essentially boil it down to just I don't know, like for me, it's like it takes the if I'm looking at it, it takes the fun out of it, right? Like for me, I think shooting is fun because of I guess, for lack of a better term, the war aspect of it, right? So like Olympic sport,
You're
right?
just a
Or the
warmonger.
kinda, yeah, actually. But like, I think like like I would think like Olympic shooting would be more interesting if it was like course of fire. You gotta ruck through. You gotta like biathlon. That's why I think biathlon's interesting. Even though they also use really crazy fancy guns, but like they have, it's like there's a use for it, right? So like biathlon shooting was used by hunters, right? Cross country, because they had to hunt in the woods, they had to hunt the mountains and snow. That was the only way for them to travel around and be able to do anything. So it's like you have to do that. So this will be a lot more interesting if they had to, go through course of fire, reload, like maybe sprint 100 meters, rather than just like sit there and be like, oh, it's like golf at that point. It's like he's about to take his shot. It's like, oh, it's all silent on the line. Oh, takes a shot. Oh, balls out. Clap, 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 clap.
But that's also why golf is a sport. You know what I mean? Look, if I wanted to shoot, the eyeballs on a chipmunk, then it's like I would ask one of these guys.
I want action golf. Okay, they need to. It's like, I mean, wait, that's just polo, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
or like, I don't know. Like, for me, I don't know. It's just, yeah. I get it. Like, it boils down to the essence of like this is boiled down to just the pure essence of pulling the trigger, right? So it's
no. What you want is like, you want to watch a golf game where all of the competitors will basically hold the golf club in one hand and be driving golf carts on the other hand, just swinging and trying to hit balls down the fair.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
they're all racing
like
next to each other, simultaneously going for the same hole. So it'd be like death race, but like with golf carts.
Well,
You're also allowed to hit other carts and people with your golf clubs.
You can't tell me that wouldn't be way more interesting to watch.
Okay, that's 100% fair.
No, and like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things, like, obviously, like, there's a lot of like factors that go into it, like golf being like it because it's such a social or casual sport, right? Anybody can get into it, so it's the barrier of entry is not low, but like the skill you can just go to a golf course and hit balls, like whether you're good or bad, right? So it's like, and it's an easily like understandable sport, so it's easy to watch even if it's boring, right? It's like, I'm watching, I get it, right? It's like, oh, this guy hit the ball closer, like I don't need to know like 5,000 rules, like what is that football doing? Why are the points in like, numerics of 7 and not 1, right? Like the shit that doesn't make sense, basically. What the fuck is a down? Yeah, it's just that's a whole other ballgame. It's like video game has that problem too, right? Like, Halo is easy to watch because you get it. Guy shoots pew pew gun, but then you watch something crazy like a hero shooter like Overwatch, you have like seizures going down screen. I don't know what the fuck's going on. And now I'm just going off a tangent. But anyways, bring it back. Yeah, I don't know. I just wish there was more like emphasis on, I don't know, for lack of a better word, realistic competition, or like, skills, rather than, and the uncomfortable truth is maybe people just don't like cardio.
I mean, yes, but I'm not sure that's entirely relevant here.
Well, because it's like training, right? For me, it's like I think I like the all aspect of shooting sports, not just the technology in the shooting sport. I think, if I had the ability to basically shoot two gun, ruck, shoot long range, like do all that, like I would. But obviously I don't have the money or the ability to do it all the time. And I get it, right? It's like, this is for most people, shooting is, it's like they want to sit down and just, but for more, I just wish there was more action packed, shooting.
Dude, that's why everybody's getting into long range precision,
because they can just sit
you
down.
Don't have to. Yeah, you can even lay down, dude. You don't even need to sit.
Yeah.
I mean,
but like, yeah, I right, because it's like, imagine Yeah, imagine long range shooting was actually more realistic, like sniping, where it's like, okay, this is the mountain range, this is your range, this is your course of fire, right? There is a target in here somewhere. You have to trek up to find the target, and then you have to shoot it from across the mountaintop. Imagine that, and your
Oh
time
man.
starts now. So including like the whole trekking, like tracking,
How would
finding the
people
target.
watch that though? Is the question.
I don't know. You need a lot of drones, I guess, or like a camera crew follows you.
Oh man,
Yeah,
the camera crew would have to be so fit.
yeah. Well, that's why you'd probably have drones follow them the whole time. So
Yeah.
the whole time you just hear. Next to
This
you.
is basically Naked and Afraid shooting edition.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have. I mean, like obviously that's like just ridiculous, facetious, but it's like I just think shooting is. It's, that's just the core of me talking, I guess.
Look, this episode brought to you by Butt Mad.
I don't know. Like I just think it's not very fun. I don't know. I prefer shooting iron sights. Nah, I'm just a FUD at heart, I guess. You're right.
Look, I just want to pay more money to make it easier. Okay.
I mean that's why people do pay more money. Although I will agree that as technology increases or technology advance, right, the barrier of entry is always getting lower because nowadays you can literally go out and just buy a Ruger Precision and you're like 90% of the way there compared to before where you have to
I
like
mean,
spend.
like what the new primary arms scopes and
Yeah.
like basically like hollow suns and stuff, making it so that any poor person can have a red dot pistol. Man, times have changed.
I mean, I don't know, man. It's just, or it could just be they just want to flex, right? It's like definitely the haves and have-nots of long range
The-
shooting. It's like, oh,
The biggest
you don't have a digital rangefinder that's synced to your scope. What a poor.
the biggest flex is having like a staccato HC with like an O light and a like a hollow sun red dot, or no, a Vism flip dot on it. Yeah, biggest flex.
Yeah, biggest flex.
I mean, it's where the budget ran out.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna go the opposite. I was gonna put a Steiner MPS and PL on my Caltech.
Yes.
I'm gonna spend $2,000 in accessories on a $300 gun.
Yeah, but Caltech is top tier, so you can't say that.
I
Caltech would sponsor us.
this shooting what in a out of a helicopter? That's kinda
Oh,
cool.
dude, that's aerial operations by Magpul Dynamics.
But like, I think this is like so like this something like this is a little more interesting than just like, hey, I'm gonna lay down. It's just like on my nice comfortable bench.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I know it's kind of a ridiculous concept, right? And we kind of got out of hand, but like the original topic, I guess. My point was that I just feel like when you're not actually competing for money, like if you're just competing for around you or like small time competition, or just yourself and people around you, it's like it definitely does feel like I'm just paying to win. And I do wish there was more interesting shooting competition to like touch or like strive for, because it's I think part of the reason why there's such a disconnect between like the tactical, like video game tactical, and the degenerate technical culture and like actual competition shooting is because it's like this is like okay, this is I guess like what people imagine, like your what people imagine shooting competition, versus like versus actual shooting competition.
Look, every 5 years we're gonna revisit this topic, and we're gonna see if your mind has been changed as you accumulate more money over lifetime.
It's never gonna change. Like, I just like because
No. That's a joke because basically, you like as you get older and you have more money, then it's like.
well, my I guess my real problem. It's like if I had to boil it down, it's like variety. Like I think variety is the spice of life, right? And then variety is also what makes competition interesting, right? So it's
Look,
like,
their competition guns are different colored.
oh, fuck you, man, so much variety here. Like,
Look, one of them has a blue visor, the other one has a
Oh
black
my
visor. I
God.
mean, come on. Look, the water bottles are even different colored.
Yeah, but I think you understand what I'm getting at. Like, it's just
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much more interesting and be like, oh, it's like, again, like an AK shooting, some like an AK and an AR, like going on a competition. It's like, okay, like, it's like,
The AR is obviously gonna win every time.
yeah, I mean, basically, 'cause you can reload faster. It's more accurate. You got better iron sights. But what if you add in a mud crawl?
Obviously the AR. no, but like that's another topic for another day.
Yeah, you're
We
right,
can talk
you're
about that. Yeah.
But like, okay, so like, I mean, a better example would be like AR, or like an M16 versus a SIG, right? Like they have like marked advantages, and that's
Obviously
what
the
makes it interesting.
SIG's gonna win every time.
Yeah, but the SIG is also like almost twice as heavy.
Yeah, that means it's gonna win
Oh, you're
every
right.
time.
More stable shooting platform. You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. It's just I think variety, right? It's like and that's what makes competition simple. Like not simple, but interesting to watch. It's like COD
Okay.
versus Halo.
So let's pose this question as we kind of
And I
wrap up
think-
here.
Yeah, there's one last thing. It's like, or if you're gonna do this, if you're gonna do something like this, right? Then make it so everybody has the same gear. Like actually, like everybody. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? So it's like fine. Then make a uniform so we know it's only the person. So like, and now I just thought about this. Yeah, the example being Halo versus COD. Right? COD is interesting because of the variety, right? You can have your loadout, you can spec your gun differently, you can build your gun differently, you can have different perks, like, so you have a lot of variety, and that's why it's interesting. It's be like, oh, I have I have a suppressed MP5, so I'm gonna try to take close range, but oh shit, that guy's got, like a fucking G3, so he's obviously gonna, so that's what makes it interesting. Whereas Halo, everybody plays on the same rule set, right? So it's like, yes, obviously shooting, like there's shooting skills, there's a foundational like gaming mechanic and skill that's being tested on, but it's being tested on two different ways. You get what I'm saying? Because Halo,
Yeah.
everything is the same. Your BR shoots just like my BR. All 3-round bursts, all same. So we play off the same rules. So if I outplay you, it's because if I beat you, I literally outplayed you, right? Not like, oh, my gun just shoots, 2 because I spec'd it, or like I picked a loadout that shoots like, 30 rounds faster than you. Yeah. So anyways, that was just my last, like, I'm just trying to video gamify shooting competitions and make it more fun.
Look. Okay, so first of all, when you're shooting like Olympic shooting competition, go back to that other picture.
Yeah.
Okay, so the rule is, you can use any like modifications to your gun.
They don't even
so
look like they're
basically-
having fun. Look at this guy. He's like, why am I here? He's like thinking about his dinner. Be like, what am I gonna have for dinner? God. Anyways, sorry, I didn't.
So in order, okay, so you can have exactly the same setups and stuff, right?
Mhm.
However, every shooter needs to take, basically, they have to basically put numbing cream on their shooting finger, and they need to take 5 shots before.
No. Actually, no. I got a better idea. Okay. You can pick any gear, like you can pick any loadout like you want, right? Like any gun, any setup, any gear, and it has to be viable, right? It has to be work. Like the gun has to work, the gear has to it'd be, the mag pouches, whatever. Like it has to work for the gun, but it's all random. So when you get there, you put your drawing in and you draw, so you can pick it someone else's loadout or setup. So you never know. Ooh, you see? So it's like yeah. So you obviously want good because like, but you also don't want it too. You get what I'm saying? So now you're like playing that like, shit. So then everybody might just pick like a good enough setup. Then it would be really interesting.
All right. I see
it's like white elephant. Yeah, it's like a white elephant of shooting competition.
All right, so let me pose the question. Okay, if you are, to the audience listening, if you are going to participate in a competition and it has to be a military issued rifle, what rifle would you pick and why? And then also, what do you think about like competition shooting? Do you think that it's just pay to play, or do you think there is like, I guess more to it? I guess I don't know. I'm curious to hear what people actually think about this topic, because it is kind of like a hot take, because you're basically saying that it's like, competition at the highest level for losers.
I will as a last like closing, I will say I'm not disagreeing with like skills, right? Like skills still matter, and obviously it takes a lot of training to be able to do a lot of competition shooting, and obviously they did their time practice to get there. I just think that shouldn't be the standard, if that makes sense. Like there should be something that's more, not accessible, that's not the right word, but like something that's more fun. That's the word I'm looking for. Just, I guess, a more fun competition. Like, right, I could show up. You're right. I could show up with my fucking, 7 rounds is all you need, 1911, and my fucking Colt 723, right? Like, just to my local 2 gun and shoot it. I can do that, but that's not I guess it's like, it's just not the norm. It's like, that's just for fun. That is literally LARPing. I just wish it was like, oh god, now it sounds like I want LARPing to be taken seriously.
Yeah, you do. Have you ever gone to the fair, and then how they have those like shooting booths where you pay like $3, and then if you can cut out the shape of the star.
Yeah, the star one.
Yeah. Okay, so it's like, what if there was like competition where you can only use guns that are full auto only?
Ooh,
and then you
have like based around full auto. Oh yeah.
And you have 1 mag or something like that, and then you have to shoot out a star. Because all of those, like, okay, so those ones, like, the reason why they're like difficult is because usually the sights on the gun is like not actually aligned with where the point of impact is. So you have to use some rounds to kind of figure out like where the point of impact is, and then you have to like control it, because a lot of those are like kind of full auto or whatever. So but those ones have like very little.
Yeah, it's fed from a hopper too, so like your feed rate is random. So like you can't also like you also can't like consistently plan your shot too. So it's all rigged. That's all we're saying.
So then like in this case though, it's like, imagine using like any machine gun. Like what would be a machine gun you would think? Okay, like an MP5 or something, right? And it's like, even though MP5s shoot very flat, they still have some recoil where the gun will bounce around and stuff. So then like you have to control the recoil and try to focus, like cut out like a star. And then like what if it was at like and then what if it was like at like 20 yards,
Yeah.
Like,
that would be interesting. Yeah, or is it like, yeah, maybe I guess if you're using real caliber, this will be like, maybe it's like a gelatin block and you have to like bring it down or break it off, you know what I mean? Like something like that. So you have to shoot enough, so your caliber matters, rate of fire matters, and obviously your accuracy does, so it's like, so that would be interesting. Or team based. I know there are some, but like a team based shooting sport, right, would kind of also interesting. Like imagine your 2 or 3 gun, but you do it as a team. So then it's like, how do you like divvy up the targets, right, and stuff like that. I think that would be interesting. Just, I don't know, just make shooting like I all I'm saying is like, I'm essentially trying to gamify shooting sport, which I don't think that's a bad thing. I just think that would make it more interesting.
Let's make shooting great again.
Shooting great again. Miska?
Yeah.
Who is Miss Ga? Make shooting great again. Uh, oh God. Oh, there it is. See? Ah, look at that. Sig.
Zig Zauer. Okay. Anyway, just let us know what you think in the comments. What's your gun pick, and do you think this competition is pay to play or not?
God, they're gonna rip us apart in the comments.
Actually, this is a hot take.
Oh God, sizzling take.
Yep.
Anyways, yeah. I
Thanks
don't
for
know.
listening.
All right, bye.